Welcome back, everybody. Kenny Smyson here. My YouTube channel is dedicated to Starfield content, so be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I've got all kinds of ship build videos for you, HAB showrooms, the Starfield Report podcast with me and Jax. And today we're going to have a bit of a somber video here, because if you've been a subscriber to this channel, you may have seen this ship or kind of a variation of it in some of my videos. Actually, in the new opening credits to the show, it's in there. And this ship I started building a couple months back and was not quite ready to put it out yet. It's the Event Horizon 2. But as you guys may know or not know, and so if you don't know this, sorry to break it to you, the late, great Sam Neill has passed away. Really one of the celebrity deaths that's really hit me a lot harder than most, because being a tail end Gen Xer, I was pre-teens when Jurassic Park came out. Jurassic Park is my favorite movie to date, but obviously he also starred in Event Horizon, and along with Lawrence Fishburne, which is a sci-fi horror movie. I fondly remember that movie, although I haven't seen it in many years, so I'm gonna have to rewatch it again. But I've seen a few Event Horizon ship builds in the game, and so I kind of wanted to put my own spin on it. A lot of times when I do a ship build video, what I will do is if it's based off something, a franchise, it's not always easy to do like a really close replica of it. And so a lot of times what I'll do is I'll take the general idea of it and kind of do like a version 2 of the ship. And so that's what I did with this ship. So obviously, if you remember the Event Horizon 2 ship from the movie, the front was like this kind of capsule, encapsulated lifeboat. All the life support systems were on it, all the crew quarters, everything up there. And then it had this really long hallway in the back, which proportionally this one's not as long, nearly as long as that one. And because then at the very back they had the grab, well, I don't want to call it the grab drive. I don't know what the device in the back was per se. I can't remember exactly. In any event, it was the whole purpose of the ship was to do something special. I'm not trying to spoil the movie in case some of you guys haven't seen it, but that's kind of why I put all of this back here. Now, on this ship, let's see. We'll do a cross section of all the HABs there, floor by floor, but I'll just focus on the back here. So obviously, I'm running a ton of mods. Aventech. I've got the Stroud Premium Edition mod, which is this right here, SPE engine, right? So I think these are usually a Class B engine in the game. Yeah, but this is a Class C variant in the SPE mod, which fits really nicely with these, being able to string those together. I've got this Aventech ring reactor. Originally, I had a couple of the structural ones. I think it might have been 1 or 2 structural ones, but I just decided to slim it down to 1, just make it a little more lean looking. And then I've got my grab drive right there. Okay, it definitely took a lot of tweaking with this. So in this case, which on the tip of this Aventech wing, I put this Aventech corner piece, right? And then this snaps to that. So then this entire engine section here, all of this is technically attached to that, right? So this is attached to that, this is attached to that, and then in a roundabout way, these are attached. This piece on the bottom is attached to the engine, or you could say that, because with that one bracer right there, that does plug up that snap point for this one to snap there. But all in all, it worked out, came out together pretty well. I am running I'll put all the mods in the description below, of course. But there is the mod I'm running that allows you to adjust the size of your ship, as well as adjust the collision. Now, a lot of these Aventech pieces, though, thankfully, I think just in the mod themselves, they do just go straight through a lot of stuff. They don't collide. That's how the modder coded them, thankfully. So I'm able to just stick that straight through there. And part of the idea for having these pieces on the outside was actually from Star Wars, the Ahsoka series. If you remember the huge ring they made to go from one galaxy to the next, that was kind of the idea of having these like that, slightly inspired, I should say. But then as we make our way forward, I've got an engineering bay right there. I think that's the gyroscope. Figured that was probably the coolest looking little thing to put back in the back there. Obviously, we'll go through the inside. Although from the outside here, I'll point out this. This is the hangar, which shows a the Rev 8 is inside there, right? So there's a 2x2 version. There's, I think, a 2x1 version of that in the SPE mod as well. But I like the 2x2, obviously, especially on a larger ship. And that has to be up as high as it is, because technically, like the elevator for it would lower down. It would have to lower down low enough for it to drive out. So that does need to be a bit higher. Obviously, these Aventech panels, we got some staggered windows in there. The Docker, man, I kind of lucked out with this one. It just barely, I don't know if I can get that to pop up with that wing right there, but it just barely makes it to the outside of that one. There are some mods you can get with Dockers that have like an extended ring. That ring will stick out a lot further. I opted, well, actually I do have it downloaded, but I know, for some reason, I just liked how this mod worked, or this Docker, this regular HopeTech Docker worked. And then, one thing that's a bit of a downside for me when it comes to the cockpits in the game is, sure, they've got a couple of these vertical cockpits like the Kontiki, the, what's the Overseer one for the HopeTech, right? Is that? Yeah, the Overseer one. But, they don't have a lot of cockpits that would look good just kind of on the flat front of a ship when you're building a massive ship like this. So that's why I did this. And obviously I'm losing my snap points for my weapons and stuff up there, but I wasn't too concerned about it because I knew I was just going to cover it up. And doing this Stroud piece right here ultimately was what worked for that. Let's see. I've got these are the new Terra Armada engine brakes, right? Now the only downside to them, you can't see. They do clip into the cockpit here, but yet I don't think you can even see that. But down here in this 2x2, there's a little bit of a clip right there that I noticed on this side because it clips into a monitor. So I debated changing it out, but I'd already pretty much settled on this design. And so I wanted to keep it there. Obviously, that's the Aventech dish. Got the Terra Armada antennas right there. The only thing annoying about these is they only attach to these specific cowlings. It's ridiculous. So I had to kind of get creative with how I inserted them in there and put some other stuff in there. But it worked out overall, I think. And then, of course, on the top, I've got a lot of the... Now, this is the ASC Teo mod. I just picked it up. They've got a lot of Teo parts, tons of Teo parts in there that'll be fun to work with, especially since my Cyber Runner that I'm going through the quests on for the podcast, she's exclusively a Teo builder. So thankfully, by the time I get to some of the bigger ships later, I'll be able to put some of those parts to use. But yeah, I like all the antennas up here and all of my the new game content that Bethesda put out. So we've got the scrap unit, we've got the anti-targeting system. There's this one, extended comm array. Chance of friendly ships showing up. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like. If there's a faction I'm a part of, and those guys will come join us. Now I am currently going through the Varun quest line again on this character because this is my space trucker ship, and he's going to use this to explore the entire galaxy. And so it'll be interesting to see if that, or maybe the Sistef, right? Those guys. See if they'll show up to help me in a fight. And these are cool because these are some shorter ones, but you can rotate them, which is how I put those ones there on the side. So you can rotate them and do all that kind of fun stuff to it. Come on, back over there. Come on. You're not. All right. I'll manually put you there. Okay. And then I didn't have something specific for this, but I figured, there's a pretty high chance that something's going to come across that I'm going to want to put there. So I just left that as a blank spot for now. And it's a reducer, which I think in some of those new KO pieces, as the word implies, it takes it from a larger piece to a smaller, but it actually, looks really sweet as a piece like that. These are some more of the new equipment stuff from the Terra Armada, or it might be freelance technically. Shield refractor unit. Oh, that's the conduction grid, of course. And stealth drive and micro reactor, which I thought these stacked, but they do not. So you get one more pip to your reactor control, but if you put 4, you're still only going to have 1. So yeah. Obviously the glowing mods. These are the only ones in that glowing set that I use. This kind of radiator look to it. So I might delete that mod only because it's such a huge list of things, and most of them don't look that great when you start zooming out. Let me show what I'm talking about briefly here. It's the line. They look awesome when you're zoomed in up close and personal, you know, like this. But as you get further away, you start having just that glimmery, doesn't hold its look too well. So I might get rid of that mod just to clean up my browsing. And let's see, anything unique on the bottom here. Yeah, so my missiles or weapons and all that, I've got the missile launchers. And with this being less intended as a combat ship, I will obviously get in some firefights with it, but I wanted it to make the theme to be based more on exploring and all that. So I've got my missiles down there. These suppressors, I think these are the most powerful in the game, because I'm definitely going to be doing some boarding and docking. And then whenever I build a Class C ship, I like to have my turrets. Just the idea that it's such a massive ship that somebody else in the crew is going to be operating those. And those ones are pretty effective. So, all right. So let's go ahead and start looking at a cross-section of the ship. Here is the first floor, deck 1. And we've got my Stroud Eklund bay on the side here, of course, going straight into the double-decker F. Now, just a reminder, the F and the A variants for these double-deckers, the F means if you're going forward, the ladder goes up. If it was the A, it would be the ladder's going up as you're going backwards. Right? So now I am running the Play Stores Yourself mod, and as you can see, I've got a whole bunch of them right over there under the ship. So obviously, once I do the internal tour, you'll see all that. But let's see, I kept this pretty straightforward. Let's see, I've got the brig. Makes sense to have that kind of down away from the rest of the crew as best as possible. But I do have the all-in-one berth, which provides, I think there is a bed in there, yeah, for guests and whatnot, and then the living quarters. You know, so if we have guests on board the ship, let's give them their spot to kick back and relax and not be allowed necessarily in the upper decks per se. So basic stuff here. Lots of landing gear for the ship, as you can imagine. Although, yeah, obviously there's no landing gear on the very back of the ship, and the ship is, in theory, it's designed that it would never actually land. You would never see the ship on the surface of a planet. It, in theory, should have a shuttle, right? I hope a modder maybe does that, assuming Bethesda's done with the game proper. You know, they make some kind of a hangar bay where that eliminates the need for a regular bay, and you have like a little shuttle inside of it. So, capital ships. All right, let's look at deck number 2. Here's deck 2, so let's go ahead and take it from, here. So you go upstairs to the top of this double-decker from the bottom, and let's go and make our way back. This is a 1x2 companionway that's part of the Stroud Premium Edition mod. Love the fact that you can have a sideways hab like that. Very useful to prevent having an unnecessary door, you know, when you're having a companionway to connect some other types of habs. Got the hangar bay, of course, back here. Here into an all-in-one berth, which I think, and that's the SPE one, which I think, if I remember correctly, we'll double check on the inside, but there's beds on this door, and so when you have a door there, it turns it into like a little kind of a break room of sorts, because there's a table and a galley. So, but we'll double check that when we get in there. Let's see, we've got a little ready room here, and then I think the companionway, that's the docker, I think I forgot to grab that. Yep, that's where the docker comes off of right there, straight across from the ready room. Now, part of the reason I chose not to have the ready room right next to the docker is because having 2 doorways, you lose a lot of the stuff on it, because there's lockers and whatnot around that ready room. And that's the Nova Galactic. That's the Graf's Habs. Okay. We've got our armory over here, Stroud SPE one, which I'm trying to remember if that actually looked any different than. We'll take a look at it on the inside. I'm drawing a little blank if it looks any different than the regular one. So you've got the ship doctor room, and then across over here is the crew's room. This is kind of like a recovery room, extended recovery room. Once people are out of the galley, right? There's a couple beds in there. Just a cross passage, just to walk straight in there. And now this double-decker here, of course, the lower one connects to this one. And this one is the one that has the, it's like a crew-style one. It's got the, wait a minute. Oh, I can't remember. Well, there's the 2x2x2, and then there's the 2x2x2B. One of them is more like a crew quarters because it has all the tables, the galley, and stuff. The other one's like the workshop. which I think this is the galley one, if I remember correctly, because I wanted that next to, on the level where the infirmary and all that is. Let's see, making our way up here, we've got there's a bathroom. It's pretty sweet, cool little setup for a bathroom. Then a gym, like a physical therapy kind of setup, right? After you're done with the infirmary, you need to heal yourself up, get your strength back. And just a cargo hall over here on this side. I love this SPE cargo hall. It's got some twists and turns in it with just a ton of stuff in there. So great. And that's one thing that a lot of these ships just don't have enough of. If you think about it, you're going to be in a ship a long time. You need a lot of cargo space. So, all right, let's look at 4-3. And here's the third deck, starting off the double-decker here. We're going to head up into this living quarters. This one's the SPE, and this whole deck is more like your regular crew, but not including officers and high-ranking crew. So tons of bursts. I just went with the basic ones on the sides. I could have gone with it. There is an SPE one that has like way more beds, but I don't know. As a comfortable, this is a scientific ship, right? It's not a military one, so I don't want the crew in there like sardines. I want them comfortable. So let's see, that's 4 times 4, so 16 like general crew member beds back here, right? So a storeroom on one side, companionway on the other, just have a difference in variety. I can't remember specifically what's in this SPE living quarters. I want to say we'll check it out when we get there, but the general idea. Oh, I forgot to move the windows over, but that way the crew can walk up to the front of the ship and kind of see where we're flying to, right? And then working our way in the back here, you're going to go from this. Now, this is why I think this is if I remember right, this is like the workshop style one with the spacesuit, weapon, and industrial workbench, as well as I think the science might be in that. The science lab and the research station might be in this one too. Or I don't know, I might have it backwards. Anyways, we've got the grav drive and the reactor decorative. Or they're both decoratives. They do, you can get ones that actually do something, I think, with stats on the ship. But anyways, I really liked having these ships because these habs in there as you walk through them. It's just some cool gadgetry and stuff going on. This splitter, this was a critical piece to this ship, and because I really wanted to go with an even wide spaceship, but every time you do that, you're going to have your cockpit off center, right? So that was why I did that. And then of course the stairwell to head up to the back of the ship. And at the top of this double-decker here on the 4th deck, we've got just the basic Stroud cargo hull 2x2. Now, if you know me, the reason I love this hab is because it has bathrooms, or a bathroom. I think it's over on this side right here. So I love my bathrooms, and I got 4 of these hydroponics. And you got to figure, if you're out there for a long time, you're going to need to be growing your own food, right? So, as you come up here, you're going to go into the cargo hall and both of these doors into the hydroponics. And this is where you start getting into the crew area. Although let me touch on this back here. So technically this is on the 4th deck, although you get to it from the 3rd. It's just an engineering bay, Deimos, as well as the gyroscope, which if you remember for those of you who've seen Event Horizon, this is probably the closest looking hab from the Stroud Premium Edition mod that would make sense to put back there if you think of the first Event Horizon ship. And then of course the reason I had to do this, it says ramp, but the stairs here, is in order to get the clearance on the back here, get this whole structure off, right? So off the ground. So that's why I had to do that. Then as we make our way forward from here, though, head into the computer core. We'll look at it on the inside, but you're basically going to go straight through here into here, and I don't even think I have a door connecting them this way. You go in through here into this companionway that way. You go up here into this companionway. Now, originally I was wanting to have the Graphs Hab 1x1 mess hall, because it's just a compact little kitchen, because right below the cockpit I figured it'd be a great spot for a break room, get your coffee, with the window right up front, of course, for them to see. Unfortunately, with Graph's Habs, a lot of his Habs, intentionally so, don't have spots, for the doors. I wonder if I could show, but he has since updated it. So I might try going back to that mess hall, but I went with this companionway just to keep it simple, and I can decorate it on the inside how I see fit. And then as you make your way back up here, you're going to go up and up the stairs here to the top deck, which is where the officer section of the ship is. And here we are on the top deck where the officers and everything else is. I guess real quick though, we'll touch on this. This is of course the bridge, which is technically on that deck, but you access it from the fourth deck. So when you come up the stairs here, you're going to go into this companionway. And there's also, and the way I place the doors is it's going to force you to go into these 2x1 companionways right next to each other. The cool thing about the SPE mod is he has a bunch of personal rooms for the primary Constellation members that you can have as your followers. So even including Cora. So this is my space trucker, which is all about Constellation and the role play therein. So I have the entire crew on board my ship. I got Barrett's room as well there. And so when you continue this way, these SPE halves, you can have them where it's like a gray color, which is just a solid tunnel. It looks pretty much like the other cross passages in the vanilla game. But this one here, that's glass. The copperish kind of look. It's see-through. So that is just, it's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful when you're walking down your ship and you can look out your huge tubed window to see the stars and all that. So, and then that's going into this living space. This is the one that has a fireplace in it, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, this is kind of like the officers' exclusive crew area. We've got the Nova Galactic Gym. I think because I put that there because of the ping pong table, if I remember correctly. And then a all-in-one berth. That's the one that this is the Graphs Hab all-in-one berth, and I love that hab. If you have a very small ship, put this on your ship immediately, because I think there's one. I think the back. It's either the back or the front. You'll lose. There is a bed, I think, on the back or the front. We'll double check it inside, but there's also just like a bench. So if you place it correctly, or I think a desk. But if you place it correctly, you're basically not going to lose anything that's functional and useful. So, but heading back this way, when you go from this companionway and over here, you're going to go through this spine into the captain's quarters. Now he's got the aft and the fore. That just means the direction you're walking into it. I think it was a little different. I think compared to the captain's quarters, it wasn't consistent. Okay, and these ones you can rotate it so it's aft, port, starboard, and fore, and think of it as the direction you're walking. If you're walking backwards, you go into the door. You cannot have any windows or doors on any of the other walls. So basically, you can only have a door. There's no window at all because you need at least the one door to get into it. But I think on the captain's quarters it was backwards, where the door placement was where it says aft, not the direction you're walking into it, if that makes sense. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up the cross-section look of it. And obviously this is no habs on this. This is just all one big piece that just slaps right on it like that. And of course those pieces come over here and all that. So, well, anyways, we're going to go ahead and do a quick internal walkthrough of this ship. And here we are in the first deck. I did switch the all-in-one berth here, the Graphs Hab one, with the brig. Figured it made sense just to walk straight across the hall into the berth. This one has 2 beds. I thought it only had 1, but anyways, works out because this one is just loaded with everything you'd want for quick access, quick entry. You got all your mission board stuff here. Very convenient. Weapon rack, just a desk. I don't think there's nothing there, and a galley. So love that hab. Over here into the brig. This one has 4 beds in it, 2 cells. Seems a little overkill to have that many, but I guess sometimes you catch a lot of bad guys in one shot, so you want to get them taken care of. Never makes sense to me to have weapons in the brig, but that's why I always have the armory separate as much as possible. And of course, this is like the guest area where people who are on the ship that you don't want upstairs get to come and hang out.
Can I help?
Galley, a couple small private rooms for more quieter moments. There's no beds in this hab though, which it doesn't bother me much. There's a couple beds upstairs if they really need to cross the hall from the doctor's office. Speaking of that, let's head upstairs. And here we are at the top of the stairs in deck 2. We'll go ahead and work our way back before we go forward. This is the doctor's office, one of the special habs. There's there's the doctor. Then of course all the Constellation members. Makes sense. She's got her stuff that looks like a doctor's office. You know, kind of your basic stuff, clinical look to it. And we'll head back here. This is going to be the companionway just straight across to the docker. And the ready room is on this side of the hall. See what I'm saying? You have lockers on that wall and the wall right here. So if you have a door and a docker, you're going to lose all your lockers. So that's why I put them opposite. I threw a few helmets up there, some weapons scattered about here and there. Oh, and access to your cargo hold, which obviously you can always just do that from your menu, but I like the role play of it, right? Heading into this 2x1. Now here on the left, this is that all-in-one berth, or what is it called? Crew quarters? Can't remember. This is where the bed is, and that's as I remembered correctly. So by putting a door there, you basically turn this into a little break room because you've got a functional galley over here. Perfect little spot to hang out and have a bite to eat. Heading on back into the hangar bay, is that what it was called? I can't remember, brain farting right now. But you've got the red bay here, of course. Now there is no animation to this, so when you land, whatever ship you have is just going to be outside, and you're not going to... It would be cool if you landed and that thing was just down, you know, on the ground, but I digress. Obviously a couple windows to look back outside. And on past the... Yep, up here, we're going to go into the armory. This is the SPE. Oh, that's right. That's why I do like the SPE Stroud, because it's got these 4 spots for your armors. Although I just realized there's no mannequins in there. Uh-oh. Is that a glitch? Oh, no. But, yeah, plenty of weapon racks and all that in here. Oh, and this is really cool. So with the Play Stores Yourself mod, you have the option for these shutters. So... You know, definitely for berths, you know, where you don't want light in, you can shut those, or any place that's like a security issue. And in a lot of cases, the door you put there, the pink thing, you can have it just be no door. So you just walk in. Now this one, because of the cross passage here, it forces you to not have a door anyways, with just the basics of how this one works. But this is just a basic little sleeping area for crew. Part of the Stroud Premium Edition mod as well. And we're into the first double-decker. This is the one that is like, wait, is this the workshop style one? Yeah, this is the workshop style one because there's no galley or anything. Yep, weapons or industrial workbench there, I think, and then armor one is over here. Spacesuit, I should say. Anyways, gonna head back over here. This is where your infirmary is. On the same level as the doctor, of course. I think I did just go with the... Oh no, I think this is the SPE one because it has extra, just a little more decorative stuff to it. And opted to have a door on either side. And I think I've got the one window here. Obviously on the outside of the ship, I do have those solar panels right there, which do obscure the view a bit. Right? There's that one there and that one on that side. So you're not going to have you're only going to have a window every other space that's possible. We've got a bathroom, which you can have the fore and the aft, so you always either go into it from that side or this side. It's always pretty much the same setup. And then a gym. Good for your physical therapy, get your muscle strengthening going on again. And oh, yep, my favorite SPE cargo 2x1. See what I'm saying? How it has like these just kind of twists and turns around. Kind of breaks up the flow of it. I don't think I lost much by putting that door or that window there. And heading on back, we're now downstairs in the... Or wait, nope, we're going to go this way. Time to go upstairs, I think. Yeah, we checked out everything here, so we're going to head upstairs now. And now we're going to be looking at the third deck of the ship. This is kind of your basic crew quarters. So we're going to head into... This is one of the Stroud Premium Edition 2x2 living quarters. I think unfortunately these, even with the Play Store Yourself mod, these double deckers, the Terra Armada ones, they're going to force you to have a door there. So I lost my coffee station that was right there. So I'll probably just put one right there. I think this is, yep, your fireplace. Sweet. And then, of course, this is the one minor annoying thing about those engine brakes in the front. Remember I told you about that? It does clip into those monitors. But at a quick glance, you wouldn't really notice it much. Obviously, the windows to go ahead and look outside. And those antennas and the satellite dish slightly obscure your view, but not by much. There's a little mini hydroponics thing. Let's see. That one. Yep, that opens that one, and then that one turns off the light. But yeah, it's pretty sweet having that little plant stuff. You know, and you can actually harvest stuff out of it there. Bathroom, of course. Just a little computer room over here. And making our way back, we're going to be... Wait a minute. Oh, yeah. It puts the door there, but there's still going to be a door to open. You won't have a solid wall, is what I'm referring to. Oh, actually, no, that's not true. In some cases, you can. Oh, what? I forgot. I've got the door there. I need to put the shutter. I need to go back in there and fix that. But oh, yeah, this is my long hallway of my crew quarter, Stroud by Stroud, vanilla habs, because wanted some nice, comfortable space bedding here. Now, the nice thing about the Stroud Auckland habs is the A and the B variants. It's the only all-in-one burst that have it. And the difference between the A and the B is the bathroom will be on one side versus the other. And up here, you're going to have the galley and the table in one side or the other. And then when you have between the A and B variant, you're going to see it flip the other way around. I think we just have another storage here. Yep, up there, just another storage. And heading back here, yep, same stuff. Pretty basic. Now this is where things get pretty fun. We have the, that's the reactor, and this is the grav drive room. Now these are just decorative, of course. They don't do anything for you, but it's pretty cool to have that in the ship. Now these doors are pretty sweet. I like these doors. There's a little button here, which you have to push that to open and close it, unfortunately. But regardless of which way you're going through it, the button's always on the left. See, there. Now this is where we go into our first splitter on the ship, where it goes from 2 down to 1, and we make our way back. And now you can see why I chose the gyroscope to be at the back of Event Horizon 2, because it's got this nifty twirly thing, and if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. There's obviously this doesn't look anything like it, but it's the only animated hab that SPE has that kind of seemed to fit the bill for having something at the back of the ship that would operate the the reactor and grav drive at the back of the ship. Now the downside of this is because of this being in the middle, and the same with those other two habs we just went through, you can't have a ladder going in the top or bottom. The other two would make sense because you would be removing your centerpiece, but because this one has these 4 little gyroscopes on the corners, you would think they would allow you to not have this one, but I digress. All right, let's look at the next deck. Now, as we head up to the 4th deck, you'll notice I have the ladder or the stairs going up away right there, and then I put this hab behind it like this. I was originally tempted to have it where you would go up the stairs and you could keep running straight forward into the next hab and go up the next flight of stairs, but I changed it around more of a security precaution, because if anybody is trying to invade the ship from the lower decks to get to the cockpit, they'd have to fight their way up those stairs, turn around and fight back this way. And so obviously when you're at the top of the stairs here, it's a good vantage point to take out anybody attempting to board. Granted, boarding does not unfortunately exist in the game, but maybe someday. So now this is the hab, or the level that has all the hydroponics, if you remember. So Barrett can have a heyday and just go to town with all his plants, all the plants. Now, if I remember right, I did have those. I might just reconnect those. But if you have a door, see now there's a second hydroponic there, right? So there should be one over on the other side, but there is not, unfortunately. This is just a 2x2 basic cargo hall. Nothing fancy here. Got the bathroom right there. And we've got, of course, more hydroponics on this side. Yep, so there's plenty of maize to be harvested. All right, back into, let's see. Oh yeah, so now we're gonna head up into, this is the SPE computer core. I like this one because it's got the glass walls that the standard Daemos one has, right? That's why I picked this one. But I also wanted it to stay Stroud Eklund, right? So, and then on up into this companionway. So again, I'm gonna try to see if I can do that mess hall, assuming he did put a door on the back to allow me to walk straight into it. The graph tabs I'm referring to specifically. If not, no big deal. I can put a chair and a little coffee station down here just fine. All right, on up lastly into, well, obviously the cockpit's up there, but we'll head on up into the top deck where the deck 5 where the crew officer stuff is. Well, I noticed a bit of an issue on that final tour, so I had to make a quick edit. Originally, this 3x1 structure piece was not there. I had this cowling, but it was set well connected to that one, which meant that this all-glass tube right there had a ceiling you could look straight up and out of. Now, the solar panel piece here, the Aventech wing, technically mostly blocked the side view of this one. So I realized when I did that, it effectively blocked the entire view. So I removed the middle panel here. I put those radiators on either side for now. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the inside. Okay, so after that quick little edit here, we're going to head to the top deck, deck 5, where all the crew officer kind of rooms are. This little SPE companionway, pretty basic, just like the other one, except it gets rid of all the storage stuff and just throws up some flowers in the corners, plants I should say. I'll probably put a couch or something there, just give it a little more different look to it. And this is the first room, which is Andresia's room. You can tell it's hers because it's got the little Varun style sculpture, flowers and the candles. Plus this is the trunk that looks like a contraband one, right? Makes sense for her character, I suppose. And this is Sarah's room. She's got a little library. Got your antique lamps, plants. That definitely looks like something for her, right? Something she'd be doing. Reading some old books. Plus the globe, the British character. Of course, she has to have the globe in her room, right? Let's see. We're gonna head across the hall to the right into Barrett's room. He's got some plants, and I think this plant is the one that's from his quest. I can't quite recall. And a research station. Next up, we're going to head into Sam's room, being the meathead of the bunch. Nothing here to make him smart, but just some weights in a punching bag. And Cora's room. All the girly stuff, of course, but got our huge bookshelf. Nice touch, because she does love her books, right? So, beautiful view outside, and this is where you get to see that window, that huge bay view. It would be kind of nice if you didn't have this huge structure piece in it, but I'm not going to complain. I love the SPE mod. But yeah, it used to be you could look up mostly straight out the top. So by having that structure cowling up on top with equipment on it, limited that, but still, beautiful view. This is the 2x2 living quarters. I like this one for my officers because it's the one with like the bar. You got the pool table. There's a fireplace here. Little lounge area. The smoke comes out the back of the wall, unfortunately, when you have the fireplace on. But let's see, we've got this is the all-in-one berth A, right? Yep. So yeah, there's a bed right there, and then a bed there. I'm thinking, yeah, so that couch right there, that's where downstairs on the first deck, when you first come in, that's where the door is coming into the hab, if you recall, I think. Or it might be... Oh, no, it's right here. It eliminates this. Yeah, because that bench is still there. So it eliminates the navigation console. Oh, that kind of sucks, losing the navigation console in that room. But, oh well. Still a fun room for guests to come into. And the ping pong table in this weight room here. An extension of the pool table, right? And then lastly on this deck is the captain's quarters. can flip the captain's quarters forward and backwards, so that way you can, depending on which way you're going to come into it. Now you can have a window here. I don't quite recall what I lost. I know, okay, there's coffee on that side. I don't think it was much of, oh, I think it was the bar. I think there was a wine bottle or whiskey bottle or something there. But I definitely love this tab. I'd hope to be able to put a window here, but you can't put any windows on either side. But technically a window would have fit right there, just barely, I think. Actually, no, it might have overlapped with the shower just a hair. All right, heading into the cockpit, and I actually took a moment to test it out. Remember how I was saying earlier that some of these Graf Hab 1x1s didn't have doors on certain places? The mess hall used to be one, but now it does. So I can't quite recall what I might have lost on the back there, because I have the cooking station, a couple tables. So who knows what it might have been in the back there, but this is perfect for having right below the cockpit, right? You want to take a 10-minute break, but you don't need to go completely to the other side of the ship to have a coffee, right? So, or tea, all right, for you folks across the pond. Let's see. Oh, yeah, and so I did look at those engine brakes. They do clip through right here, just barely. But that's such a minimal intrusion, you wouldn't even notice that unless you're completely OCD. I mean, I'm like sometimes OCD, but not always OCD. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed this ship build. This was so much fun to put together. And yeah, the late, great Sam Neill. Just so sad to have lost him, but so happy that I have the memories of him. And I'm going to have to go through his whole filmography, rewatch Event Horizon, Jurassic Park, you know. All right, folks, take care. I will see you in the Starfield.
Pressure holding.